Surprise. This is just as much of a surprise to me as it is to you, because in past videos there have been some books when I'm talking about a queer book specifically where I say, I am not queer, I'm not gay, so I can't speak to the representation of this queer identity or that queer identity or whatever. I was coming at it from a heterosexual person, a cis heterosexual person, and now that has bitten me in the butt because I got hit by a ton of bricks with the realization that I'm not straight. Here is my little coming out story before I get into the bookish content of this video. So hi, if you have never seen me before, if you're coming to my channel for the Pride content, hello, my name is Hannah and I officially am pansexual, bisexual. I like the label queer or gay just as an umbrella term, but I guess pansexual or bisexual is also accurate. So I don't really mind what I am referred to as. I like all of it. And here's my story. I was looking to get a haircut. I'm fully vaccinated now and I was wanting to get a new haircut, and I was looking at pictures of other femme people online, and I was looking specifically at pixie cuts and traditionally masculine hairstyles on femme bodies, femme faces, and I saw a picture of a person who is non-binary, who was presenting as female but dressing masculine, and it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh no, I'm attracted to it. It wasn't oh, I want to look like this person. And before you ask, my husband and I are fine. Obviously, I'm still attracted to him and we're still really happy in our marriage. This is just another part of me. And I don't know, this is really new to me. I'm 27. I'm 27 and I just figured it out, and it makes so much sense because now I'm remembering things from when I was younger and I'm like, oh, I wasn't just like obsessed with that character. I was attracted to that character. So I guess that's a little bit about my story. Hi, and now we're gonna get into the bookish content of this video. So I wanted to make a video coming out because again, I have made videos in the past saying I'm not gay, and obviously that is not true anymore. For me to officially, when I'm talking about books that have queer representation that I identify as or identify with, that it is coming from that type of perspective. This video is kind of weird and different from all of my other videos. I wanted to spend this Pride video talking about a resource and kind of talking about books that I have found using this database. So if you are a reader who is interested in reading about characters who are in the queer alphabet mafia, this database is really helpful for those people who want to read about those types of identities and those types of characters in the science fiction and fantasy genre. So if you're interested, here's a good place to go for those types of recommendations. And it is called the Queer SFF database. Now this is a really, really cool website where you can go in and really customize your search for books that you are interested in. So there are so many ways that the person who's running this website has tagged each of the books, and it's so broad. I can't even get into all of the options, but you can find women loving women, men loving men, non-binary representation, polyamorous representation, multisexual representation, ace, demisexual, and this is all books in the science fiction fantasy genre. The other thing you can do is filter by young adult or adult, page length requirements, all sorts of search filters that you can use to find books that you are looking for. So that is a resource that I really just wanted to showcase, that if you are a sci-fi fantasy reader wanting to read about queer identities, you know, have your fantasy sci-fi have characters from the Alphabet Mafia, that this is where I mainly go as a starting point. This doesn't have every single book ever because it's just, you know, one person trying to put this whole website together. But this is a great place to start to get recommendations if you're interested. So of course I will leave a link to the website down below, and let us talk about the 5 books that I am most excited about that are queer, adult sci-fi fantasy, that are polyamorous or non-monogamous. To be clear, I am not non-monogamous. My husband and I are monogamous. However, I want to read outside of my experience as well, and I just know a lot of people who are non-monogamous and want to give them book recommendations, really, and talk about awesome books. That's really it. These are the 5 books that I'm most excited about. So I have a shelf on Goodreads that has about 30 books in it that are all sci-fi, fantasy, polyamorous, or non-monogamous related. However, some of them are young adult, some of them are adult, but these are just the 5 that I'm like most excited about, and these are all adult books that I really want to get to. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of these books are not available at my library, so I'm gonna have to find a different way of accessing them, but I'm gonna spread the word here about these 5 awesome adult books. And the first one is called A Dowry of Blood. And now if you see me looking down, my printer is out of paper and I am too lazy to put more paper in it, and so I'm going to be looking down at my computer and reading you my notes. A Dowry of Blood is by S.T. Gibson, and this is a dark, queer, polyamorous fantasy retelling of Dracula. So the tagline on Goodreads is a lyrical and dreamy reimagining of Dracula's brides. A Dowry of Blood is a story of desire, obsession, and emancipation. Yes, and it's only like 290 pages. I am so freaking excited for this book, and I just like, look at it. I read Dracula and was incredibly disappointed. I really didn't like the classic version of Dracula, so anytime I can get a queer or POC retelling of a classic, I just want all of it, and this one is just so exciting to me, and I really need to get my hands on it. The second book I'm super duper excited about is called Local Star by Amy Ogden, and this is a polyamorous space opera with a fast-paced, action-packed adventure that's sure to punch you in the feels. That is a quote, and that is everything I want. I want to feel all the feels and be entertained. Fast-paced adventures that really kick me in the gut with their emotional impact and their characters really interest me, and this just looks incredible. And again, I need these books in my life. Number 3 is In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, who is also known as Adrian Strickland. And the tagline on this one is, a pansexual blood mage reluctantly teams up with an undead spirit to start a rebellion among the living and the dead. I'm loving how these books are serving me that dark vibe, that kind of spooky vibe, and I'm really feeling it right now. Look at this cover. It's a skull shape. I just need it. Oh, and it looks like in the Ravenous Dark might be young adult. I don't know. It says young adult. So I guess this is mostly adult with one young adult, whatever. All right, now this one is a little bit older. It's from 2013, but I've seen it on a lot of lists. If you type in like polyamorous sci-fi book lists or whatever, this one pops up a lot, and it's called Ascension by Jacqueline Koyanagi. So the summary is Alana Quick is the best damn sky surgeon in the Heliodor city, but repairing starship engines barely pays the bills. When the desperate crew of a cargo vessel stops by her shipyard looking for her spiritually advanced sister Nova, Alana stows away. Maybe her boldness will land her a long-term gig on the crude, but the tangled axon proves to be more than a star watching in plasma coils. The chief engineer thinks he's a wolf. The pilot fades in and out of existence. The captain is all blonde hair, boots, and ego, and Alana can't keep her eyes off her. But there's a little time for romance. Nova is in danger, and someone will do anything, even destroying planets, to get their hands on her. I love space operas with like found family elements, and this is like hinting at it might be that, with all these like kind of misfit characters coming together on this ship to save the day, save Nova, the sister, and they're all a little bit criminal. They're, I just love that. They're a little bit criminal, but we love them anyway. And it's gay and poly, and I'm excited. And this is adult, by the way. This is a series, and I believe the whole series is out now. Obviously, it's a little bit of an older series, but I am super excited for Ascension. All right, and the last book I have on my list, again, if you want to see my full list of like 30 poly books that I have, I will leave that linked down below. But the last one I will do for this little video is The Mirror Empire by Cameron Hurley and Richard Anderson, who's an illustrator. So this is an illustrated book. Hello. And I've heard of Cameron Hurley as an author before, so I'm pretty excited to read one of their works. And let us read the summary together. On the eve of a reoccurring catastrophic event known to extinguish nations and reshape continents, a troubled orphan evades death and slavery to uncover her own bloody past while the world goes to war with itself. In the frozen kingdom of Sidwan, invaders from another realm are decimating whole cities, leaving behind nothing but ash and ruin. As the dark star of the cataclysm rises, an illegitimate ruler is tasked with holding together a country fractured by civil war. A precocious young fighter is asked to betray his family, and a half-die general must choose between the eradication of her father's people or loyalty to her alien empress. Through tense alliances and devastating betrayal, the Die and the allies attempt to hold against a seemingly unstoppable force as enemy nations prepare for a coming together of worlds as old as the universe itself. In the end, one world will rise and many will perish. So this is like an epic fantasy, multi-dimensional, multiple point of view saga. Like, there are multiple books in this series, and I don't know, it just sounded really cool. And it's also queer and polyamorous, and I just think, I've got a nice mix of like standalones and series in this list. So let me know of any more sci-fi, fantasy, polyamorous / non-monogamous queer books that you've heard of, or any queer books in general that you think I should read. In general, I'm more of a sci-fi fantasy reader, but I really like gay contemporary romances, specifically adult though. So anyway, that was this little video. Happy Pride, happy coming out to me and to all of the baby gays out there, and to the seasoned gays who have been out for a while. I love y'all, and just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys stick around for more of my content, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.